Major support for Do the Math has been provided by Chevron, the Kern County Superintendent of Schools, Edison International, Valley Strong Credit Union, California Resources Corporation, Bakersfield West Rotary STROOPE Family Foundation, Panama-BUENA VISTA Union School District, Bakersfield City School District, Kern High School District, and AC Electric Company, with additional production assistance provided by these supporters of education in Kern County and throughout the state of California.
We're here today at Stine Elementary School, home of the Vikings, for the Science for Kern Challenge. And we're here today to do the math in 3, 2, 1, We're here at Stine Elementary School. Michelle Roy's here with Science for Kern. It's another one of those great Tuesdays to get some science built into the classroom, and we've got a lot of really eager students here. They've pumped up this challenge, they know what's coming, and they really just want to get to it. So let's explain for our viewers at home a little bit first about Science for Kern, and then what our kids are going to be doing today.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Devin. Science for Kern is a mobile lending library for 4th and 5th grade students all over Kern County. We have 10 units that teachers can check out. The units can be checked out at www.science4kern.
That's the number 4, everybody. She did this thing.
It's the number 4. The program comes with it's turnkey ready. Everything that the teacher would need, including a teacher's manual, as well as demo lessons can be provided as well by a certificated teacher, and that's available upon request. And then the best part is we come and pick it up when the teachers are finished as well.
Well, if you're watching, you're going to get a great demo here, because what we have today, and I got to kind of play victim to this a little early. Is that the wrong word to use, victim? Yeah. You shot rockets at me, basically, as soon as I entered the room. We'll explain. But basically, what we're going to get to design today is things that fly.
Correct. So we're going to be aeronautical engineers today, and our challenge is super simple. A straw rocket is what we're going to be building today. A rocket, the straw, air-powered, that blow in the straw, shoot the rocket. We have a starting line there in the back of the room. And our objective today is to launch a rocket from the straw and hit the door. That's ultimately where our ultimate objective, our ultimate goal for the project today. But before we get into any fancy rocket building, we're going to build what I'd like to call a preliminary rocket. So each student's going to be getting a rectangular piece of pink paper. When you get your paper, students, you're going to be getting a piece of pink paper with a rectangle on it. Cut out the rectangle. And then, once the rectangle is cut out, I want you to roll the rectangle. So cut it out. And then roll the rectangle long ways around your pencil. Definitely a two-handed job. And if you need to help one another in your teams, that might make this part of the job a little easier. Roll it around the straw and then tape it. Hi. Right. Nicely done. Roll it the long way. Roll it up. Take this down. How's it going? My straw tube. Right now, I just have a straw tube in my hands, just like all of yours. But if I blow, what happens this way? Yeah, the air just blows right on through, right? So what I need to have happen, so that the air doesn't blow all the way through, is, so check this out. Here's my tube. I need to just take one end and just pinch it over a little bit. So see how much I have folded over? Everyone see that all around the room there? About that much. And then take some tape and just tape it down. Because we're stopping the air from just traveling right on through our tube. Otherwise, our rocket won't work. So fold that tip over, tape it down. Excellent. Perfect. Tape that closed. And then, after you've got it taped, you can do what this student over here just did. Check it out. See, he's got his rocket taped, and he took his straw tube, and he's got it on his straw ready to launch, but no launching yet. That's as far as we're going at this point.
We use the word stages when we talk about rockets. This is really just stage one of the construction process to make sure that we have our initial launch ready to go for the first step of the prototype. So we're going to take a break and send it back to the studio. When we come back, we'll see how much further we are along in the process to see how far this group here at Stine Elementary could fly. Back here at Stine Elementary School with Michelle from Science for KERN and our fantastic students who are in the midst of our prototyping phase for our rockets. We have passed the initial design phase. We're going to test out our very rudimentary prototypes here to see how far along in the process we are with what we've already built.
Right, come on over, ladies. So let's see, toes on the line. And let's see, hold your rockets up for the camera. Hold them out there so that he can get a good look at them. And let's see, are you ready? Let's launch and see how far they go.
We're going to look out to, oh!
Oh, yeah, all right, so go pick them up. And you can take them back to your seat.
Do us a favor, where were each of you on those shots? Show us where they landed here from the line.
In your landing spot.
Okay, so a couple of interesting things here. Even though the designs look very similar, the flight paths were very different. Yours started off kind of over here on this side, right? And it kind of flew low and curved and then kind of landed right here. Yours went on a much more wild path. It started off over here, went up a little bit, curved, and then buckled in sharp to the right and landed in one of these cubbies down low, right? So who knows if this wasn't here, that could have gone even farther that way. So even though your designs were very similar, they both took very different paths. Why do you think they flew differently?
Because I taped it and I blew it hard.
So there's two factors you mentioned. The tape that you used and how hard you launched it from the straw. So let's compare what we can look at, right? We can at least look at how yours are taped together and see if that has an impact. Do you feel like yours has more or less tape than hers?
Less.
So I wonder if having less tape might influence the path of the rocket as you design them further. All of these things have an impact when we compare designs, right?
Yeah. So do you think more tape makes the rocket heavier or lighter?
Lighter. Or no, heavier. Here we go.
Okay. So you think yours is heavier than hers? Yours is lighter and it went farther, right? Huh. Interesting. Good observations.
So if you return to your desks and continue to work on your designs, how might you change your designs to get a more desired result?
I would try to put a bunch of tape on it.
You would put more tape on it so you don't want it to fly. Well, do you feel like that would help it fly straighter, perhaps?
Yeah.
Or do you think there's something else that might influence the direction of the flight?
Straighter.
Okay. How about you? What would you do?
I'll put less tape on it.
You're interested in a design that requires less tape so you can fly farther. So if there's a way for you to remember or mark where you landed this first test, and then when you come back for your second design, we'll see if it actually does
remember
change
where
that.
you are.
Okay? We have 3 other designs right here at the starting line that are eager to launch
All right,
off here.
gentlemen, let the ladies move out of the way. Are you ready? Are you ready? I'm going to count down. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So,
So go stand by your rocket.
what were some of the observations of what you noticed
Pick up
regarding the
your rocket.
launches and the flights of your devices?
So,
What did you notice happening during the flights? Did you see them flying in a straight line?
No.
What happened?
When I blew into it, the thing went far, like a little more far than Juwan's, and started curving.
So, if you ever see baseball, sometimes you'll see a ball in slow motion that kind of wobbles like this before it drops. That's called knuckling. And it looked like a lot of your designs knuckled. What do you think was the cause of that as it flew forward and then slowed down?
Like the way how I put the tail, like it's just sticking. Also, I think it's just gonna like.
So, when you go back and redesign this, what do you think is a change that you'll make in your design?
Like try to make this tape stay down.
Okay, and that you think will help with some of the aerodynamics that'll allow it to fly and cut through the air in front of it more easily. Okay, one other thing I noticed that may have had an impact too is when you got set to launch, some of your straws were kind of parallel to the ground and pointed up, and I think one person had theirs tilted a little bit down. Do you think that could have an impact on the distance that it flies?
Yes. Because sometimes when, like my dad tells me when I'm playing football, if you throw a football high, it's just gonna go down and not that far. When you throw it like low and like directly at something, it's gonna like go where you want it.
So something you want to be more mindful of on the launch then, from what I'm hearing you say, is the angle at which you launch it. So that's something to keep in mind for the next test around, all right? So go ahead and redesign yours. We'll do ahead and check out another
all right,
round
so we're
of
ready for
testers here.
another launch over here, Devin. Ready, ladies? In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go stand by your rocket.
Now,
Stand by your rocket.
one big difference I noticed in the launches was how far up the straw your rockets were. Yours were all the way on as much as they could be, and I noticed you kind of put yours a little bit towards the end before you blew. What was your thinking when you did that?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Why do you think that might have had an impact on where yours landed compared to where theirs landed?
Because I think I had mine lowered down.
So, when you launch again or redesign, when you prepare for launch, what's something you want to keep in mind to see if that has an impact on whether your rocket flies farther?
Make sure it's on right and you have an angle of perspective where you're trying to launch it.
Okay, so keep that in mind that might have an impact, and is there a way to redesign your rocket so that it does stay all the way on the straw more easily? Or perhaps we need to change something about the straw too. Just some ideas to throw out there. Go ahead and head back to your redesign. We've got another group of 4 that are set to launch here.
Ready? Ready to launch in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, yeah. No, okay, go stand by your rockets.
Who's with the farthest?
So what'd you learn?
Put less tape.
Less tape. Now, when we were waiting over on the starting line, we were doing a little bit of preliminary testing. And explain a little bit about what was going on when you were trying to blow on a small test.
I pushed it too hard and it wouldn't go up
Okay, and so why do you think it wasn't going?
because I pushed it too far and it wouldn't come out.
Oh, okay, so it was actually
tighter.
like literally stuck. So what do you think made these two just go just a little bit farther? Because, I mean, honestly, you guys are quite closely clustered together. They didn't really have that much more success than the two of you. So what do you think was a little bit of a difference in their design versus your design?
I I think that mine went farther because I blew harder.
Okay. So you think the amount of air that you blow makes a difference? All right. So what do you think?
I kind of made mine blue so it'd be easier to come off of the straw.
How hard do you think you blew?
Like a normal, breath, not too hard or not too soft.
All right. All right, so you guys can go back to your seat, and Miss Jamie's going to have some directions for you. All right, one more launch. You ready?
We got one more round of launches. We'll see how this flies.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, go stand by those, and let's see. Oh, wow. Interesting. Mine.
So, even though the direction was a little varied, the distance seemed to be almost even across the board. The same line on the tiles.
Interesting. You all ended up in the same spot. Look at your designs.
Both like 1 inch higher.
Look what your classmates did. Are they that similar? What do you think?
Not really. Not to me. I think I added too much tape.
That's awful tapey, isn't it?
It's so
But
sticky.
look where you're standing compared to your classmates.
It's like 1 inch.
It looks like you just a little bit. All right, you guys can go back to your seat and start working on your second iteration of the rocket.
And it looks like the second iteration is going to have a pretty significant addition on top of it that we'll take a look at when we come back to our next break, and we'll see what impact that has.
Right, exactly.
Back here at Stine Elementary School, Science for KERN. Michelle Roy's here. We are at our final testing stages for our rockets. They were able to build the prototypes and have now added a very significant component, and we're going to see how that changes the results.
Yeah, we've been messing around with adding fins to our rocket. And we've had a little bit of preliminary testing here in the classroom, but I think it's time for the real test.
So, theoretically, what is the addition of a fin designed to do on a streamlined kind of rudimentary rocket like they've designed already?
It has something to do with keeping it straight.
We mentioned there were some issues with students kind of knuckling their rockets as they reached a certain point in their flights.
Correct.
So we'll see if that has an
Let's
impact.
see if there's a difference in direction, maybe. And I'm thinking out loud, maybe direction keeps it straighter. Maybe we'll get some longer distance with straighter rockets.
It's time
We've
to
also been talking some about blowing and the power of the breath, too. So
that initial
we'll see,
launch propulsion.
correct.
Plus
We'll
lung
see-
capacity.
Correct. We'll see
Well,
what happens with
let's
that, too.
put theory into practice.
So where's my first team that's going to be testing? I had some pre-picked. I had a team picked first. Here. And all right, so are you ready? And launch in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, let's go with your rockets. And so did we go further this time?
Yeah.
Hold up your rocket so that we can get those on camera. Turn around, sweetheart. So what do you think made the difference this time?
Putting the things to it.
What are these called?
Wings.
Wings, fins, right? And so hold yours up for the camera so we can get a good look at it. And yours too for comparison's sake here. And so why do you think yours went further?
Because of these. And I made less tape.
Less tape. So what do you think less tape resulted in less what?
Weight.
Less weight on the rocket. So do you think there's something to be said maybe for a lighter rocket maybe goes further?
Yes.
So it's going to be interesting to see what your classmates say when they test their rockets too. All right, well done. Well done. All right, let's go test with another group.
Let's get our second group lined up.
3 more on the line. Actually, let's get 4 more of you on the line. Shift this way. All right, you squeeze in there too. All righty, let me get out of the way. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, wow, check that out. Where's yours? Did it not come off? Oh, no, so come stand by me too. Check this out.
Well, that was fun.
Was yours, did you just try to test? Okay, go ask Miss Jamie and she'll help you put yours together. So, Where's our farthest launch?
Right over here.
All right, so tell us a little bit about your rocket. Did you go further this time than your first test? How come?
I used lightweight paper and edit these things for velocity and speed.
So how do you think these, what do we call them? Fins? Okay, and so how do you think they maybe make a difference?
Because they're aerodynamic.
Ah, what do you think makes them aerodynamic?
The way they're shaped.
I'll also kind of note the fact that instead of them kind of being bent out and crossed, these sets of wings seem to be kind of parallel to each other. So I wonder if that makes it easier for the wind to cut through between them and provide a little bit more lift along the way too.
That's awesome. Well done. So how about you over here? Did you go further this time than the first test?
Well, no, but I added I don't know what this is called.
Pointy? You
yeah.
got a pointy tip there.
Yeah,
But closed up still.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got this one went farther because I didn't add these, and when I was like at the corner, it went right here because like it had to go right there, but it went right here because they had these.
Wow, interesting. Well done. All right. Ready to launch? One more person up on the line. Ready to launch? In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Aw. All right. So on this test, oh wow. So did you go further this time than the original test? Why do you think so?
Because the wings were like curved up, and the tape was still like that from last time.
You taped your tip? Okay, so hold yours out. Hold it out with your finger. Compared to this, can you tell us about your most original design there?
I just cut out art to design it, and I put a bunch of tape.
So did these heart-shaped fins make your rocket go further this time than you did on your first test? Ah, so further, not as far. How about you? Did your rocket go further? Hold it up so we can see your fin design.
It got much further because last time I got it right there, and since I added much more tape and I blew harder, it got much.
Oh, and you blew harder too. Okay, so maybe that has something to do with it too. Check out this one. So her rocket didn't go quite as far as everyone else's. But look at the fin design. Right, come back over here and hold yours up compared. So do you think we must be getting at something with this sort of fin design versus the heart-shaped fins?
Mine's on one side, on different separate sides, and hers are just on one.
Yeah, interesting. Well done, everyone. You can go back to your seats. All right, we need 4 more people on the starting line.
Next ball, line up.
How? All right, ready and launch in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Duck.
Go stand by your rocket.
Okay, so we're gonna need to see that in slow motion eventually. We have our first headshot of the afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Sir, we need to talk. First of all, my lawyer will be in contact with you shortly. Secondly, talk a little bit about this flight compared to the first flight.
So on the first flight, it didn't go as far,
I could tell.
but so I added
So kind of like what birds would have, maybe wings, flaps, or even like a fish. These would be called fins, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
and I added like a little too much.
I don't think you did. If the whole point is to see it fly farther and higher, it certainly achieved that goal. Now, something I noticed here is that the nose of your rocket seems to be pinched together instead of folded over. Is that something you kind of had in mind when you designed this? So what was your thinking when you did this?
So I was thinking that if I did that, it would go further. On the first try, but it didn't. So I just like squished it more, and then it went further on the second try.
Well, it was wonderful. It was a great effort. I'm fine. Thanks for asking, by the way. Here you go, sir.
So another really interesting fin design. Hold that up. And this and yours in on this launch, what place did yours get?
Only about like 2 blocks,
It barely went.
and I'm sad.
Yes, but look at
Here's
the
why.
fin. Look at the fin design there. So why do
Right.
you think this design didn't go as far?
Because I think I added way too much paper.
Okay, too much paper. All right, and the
I thought it would make a pretty good balance on it.
similar fin design to what we've already had. How about over there too? Oh, tell us about that.
I put 2 fins and then taped them.
All right. So we have, you guys can return to your seats. Thank you. We have one more group to test. Launching in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
To the door. Wait, we got one more coming.
One more. There we go. So we've already heard from those two, and that was actually their 3rd try. So they've modified even again, but this is our 1st try. 2nd try, right? Tell us about yours. Oh, check that out. Can we have you two come over here and join? And compare yours to her fin design. And let's have a quick discussion around why these two went so much further than that one. What are you thinking?
I think it has too much tape. Yeah, I would think that it looks good. I will think it's just too much tape, probably.
And I think something I notice is that you did something with the nose here. Could you kind of describe what you did with the nose of the rocket
Did
here?
you just launch this one and it almost hit the door?
No, I did this one.
This one almost hit
Ooh,
the
that's
door.
interesting.
All right, 2 fins then, right? Huh.
Just one.
But
yeah.
what I did, the
What's that?
other ones were like this, but what I did, I curved them up just a little bit.
All right, interesting. All right.
So-
Well, thank you, ladies. Well done.
A lot of really interesting designs coming into play here at Stine Elementary. Michelle, if teachers wanted to take advantage of Science for KERN, how could they reach out to you and where would you direct them?
www.science4
Or, like the horseman,
kern.org.
hey, a wonderful juxtaposition of design thinking and engineering and aerodynamics. Thank you so much for the opportunity. And thank you to everybody here at
We had a
Stine
lot of
Elementary
fun.
School.